What's up, YouTube? This is the Eben Oracle here. Hey, today's going to be my third video in my series about the Hermetic principles. And today we're going to be discussing the second Hermetic principle, the principle of correspondence. Correspondence is probably better known by its Hermetic axiom of as above, so below. And what this means is that the Hermeticists believe that you can break down everything in existence, all of creation, into three great planes. And you have the first great plane, which is the physical plane. The second great plane, which is the mental plane. And the third great plane, which is the spiritual plane. And even though these three planes have been broken down into three distinct divisions, they're more on a graduated scale, where there's not a clear division between one and the next. There's actually a fading or blurring of the lines between one and the next. So they're all interconnected. And the way that the Hermeticists believe that this scale works is that things are vibrating at a higher or lower rate. And the higher the rate something is vibrating at, the higher up in the scale it goes. So here's like the breakdown or examples. When you're talking about the physical plane, you're talking about basically minerals and the elements. And in that physical plane, when you're talking about on the low end of the scale, you have solid elements like rocks, granite, sand, all these things that are very solid and would be considered solid matter. And then as you get into things like water, it's vibrating a little higher. That's why it has a more fluid feel to it. And as you go up the scale even further, you have things like gases, which obviously you can see, or you can't see, but gases are all around you. There's air around you. You can feel the wind, but you can't see it, and you can pass right through it. And after you get past that level, and you get into the higher portion of the physical realm, you start dealing with things on the electromagnetic spectrum. Things like electricity, magnetism, light waves. It's basically energy waves. After you get up out of the physical realm and you start talking about the mental realm or the mental plane, you're dealing with things that have a consciousness. I would imagine it starts off like bacteria, plants. It works its way up into lower level animals, higher developed animals, and eventually at the top of the scale, you get to things like human beings, which have a very developed sense of awareness and consciousness. After you get out of the mental realm and you start getting into the spiritual realm, you start dealing with beings like angels, archangels, deities, and the all, which is pure spirit and it encompasses all of the lower levels underneath it on this scale. The thing that I found very interesting is that even though this principle of correspondence speaks a lot about vibration, the next principle in the Hermetic principles is the principle of vibration. And then the one after that is the principle of polarity, which is basically talking about opposite ends of a pole on a scale, and how these two opposite poles are in fact not opposites but different degrees of the same thing. I'll get more in depth on vibration and polarity in my next two videos, but I just wanted to point it out that just like these three planes of existence kind of fade one into the next, but they're all encompassing, they're not necessarily separate divisions, the seven Hermetic principles seem to work out the same way. They're basically seven different principles that all are one concept. I think it's broken down into seven principles as a way of learning this concept. And once you study this concept more and you become you gain more understanding in it, you start realizing how interconnected all these universal laws are. Anyways, guys, this has been the Eben Oracle here. I hope you guys are having a great day, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace out.